Thanks a lot, Cecilia, for the very nice introduction, and hello everyone. Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. I was really happy to get the invitation from Carla, from the Alumni Club in Argentina, so I'm very honored to be able to talk to you here. It's going to be a very short 10 minutes that I hope that you will like what I have to present you here. I'm gonna try to share my screen now.
I think that Irma or someone have to allow you. Maybe Agnes?
But I think she's a co-host already.
Yes, I think it looks like I can. Let me just try.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
You should be able to see my first slide. Can you see it? Or just like this?
Yes, okay.
Yes. Yeah, okay, great. So the title of my presentation is Innovation and Technology Transfer in International Collaboration, Challenges and Opportunities. Originally, the title was for German-Chilean collaboration, but as I realized, there's going to be more people from other countries, from Brazil and from Chile and from Germany. I thought I'm gonna make it a bit wider so that it's maybe more useful for everyone. I'm really happy that Laura talked before me, because that's like a very great bridge to start my talk. But first of all, I'd like, just for those of you who might not be aware of what IECO is, or who might not know us, just to say a few words. I work at the Institute of Eco-Industrial Development. I am the coordinator at KIT, like Cecilia mentioned. And the goal of our Eco-Industrial Development Institute is to create a long-term collaboration structure with the partner institutes, partner universities, which are KIT, Austral de Chile, Universidad de Chile, and la Universidad de Chile, but also to expand our network with further relevant organizations and companies, for example, such as the alumni clubs in Chile, which are already our friends and supporters, to foster joint activities in ECO's action fields. And the action fields are higher education, research, and also innovation. Our thematic focus is, like the name of the institute says, is eco-industrial development, and our activities are around developing solutions for the industry in 4 topics mainly, namely the sustainable usage of water and energy in the urban context, the sustainable material and energetic use of the biomass, the industrial utilization of resources from the subsurface, as well as the general urban eco-industrial development in South America. And in these topics, every time a pair of German-Chilean researchers are the topic speakers. So this is important to mention so that you understand from which perspective I am going to talk about the challenges and opportunities for technology transfer actions. First of all, I'd like just to make a small summary of the experiences I have gathered over my experience years, but also mostly during my work as a coordinator at KIT for the IECO. How do organizations foster innovation and technology as joint international cooperation? Well, it's not an easy question, and there is not like one single answer, but it's like a multi-way road. Firstly, I like to categorize the factors or the actions in two parts. One of the structures and the financing, and the other one is the working culture, that it must be open for innovation. Regarding the first part, regarding the structures and financing, we have that organizations usually what they do is they make strategic decisions regarding what kind of technology focus the organization should have, and then they build a strong technology capacities around that. In this way, they position themselves in the international market as very attractive partners for the international collaboration, because everyone wants to get in partnerships to be stronger. So they also look for strong partners. The second thing is that the structures that organizations decide to go for need to be aligned with the national public policies in order to take advantage of the opportunities and the financing lines that the governments and public organizations organize for promoting innovation. The typical tools are the calls for projects, to give grants to your projects, to give grants to persons as well, to educate yourself in these topics or to follow your own idea. Another very important is the co-founding schemes. which can be up to 80%, but also as low as 50% for very for high risk investments. And another way of fostering this is by business camps and startups trainings. I will say a few words about this last point in the next slides. The second column is the promotion of the working culture. And in this, we have that organizations do a lot of things or can do a lot of things to foster innovation in the international collaboration. The first of all is, or the simplest one is, they usually integrate innovation management or innovation as a career path in the way of academic degrees. Another way is to foster the post-degree education of their academic staff, of their professor, the teaching staff abroad, but they also do hire people from abroad. Let's say, for example, they bring German people to Chile or to Argentina or to Brazil to work with them, not only as a guest, but also in long-term projects. And this has been proved to be very good for a fruitful collaboration. This gives you more exposure, the cultural exchange, the access to additional expertise, and also this exposure to different mindsets, which is a pre-requirement to be open for innovation. Another thing is the multilingual competences. I think like 30 years ago, it was a great thing if anybody could speak English beside their native language, but today it's really not enough. It has been proved, and we confirm every time at IECO that talking the local language is of great advantage to foster your collaboration, for example. And especially also when the researchers from South America speak German, it's also when the researchers get more excited about the collaboration. Another thing that organizations can do and do actually is this to foster this regular contact with the international community. This takes place actually anyway due to in order to be up to date with the scientific community and with the scientific developments. But it's also a very positive effect in the contact with the innovation scenes, these personal contacts and the building up of networks. And very important is the contact with the local industries and also local research centers in a two-way direction. This is in order to be aware of what are the necessities of the industry or what are the offers that the research centers are preparing for the industries. And another point that should not be misunderstood or underestimated is the trust and the understanding, because industry and academy, they do work very, very differently. They have very different goals sometimes, but they can have a common goal through collaborative communication platforms. So this is about like the general fostering. And now let's talk about the challenges. Like it was like first bad news and then the good news. So I'm gonna say first the challenges and then the opportunities. I gave a great thought about this, and the summary is that it's just a complex world and we live in a very complex time. For innovators nowadays, they have a very rough time because 30 years ago, 40 years ago, it was enough just to have a very good idea, but nowadays it is not. Every good idea, every innovative solution must be socially fair, economically attractive, but also environmentally responsible, and it is not easy to balance these three factors. Additionally, nowadays, globalization means everything, and we have to be open to international collaboration, but we also have to support the local economies, and we have to avoid increasing the carbon footprint. But that's also a big challenge for them. And on the other hand, we can think, okay, we need better production ways, but we also need responsible consumers. So this is also a two-way road. On the other hand, for consumers, it's sometimes still expensive to be responsible with their consumption. So it's also difficult for the consumers to go around about these innovations in a proper way. Additionally, we have that radical innovations, disruptive innovations, they need to find a market for their products. But it's also an ethical question. How do we innovate, or how do we get to the consumer and get them to get our innovative products in their baskets and buy them and use them? But we have to do it in an ethically correct manner. I'm not going to talk about Google right now, but I'm just going to say it has to be ethically correct. So how to foster a positive change in consumption habits, and also the perception of what is a good quality standard from people. That's an open question, and it's not an easy to answer. On the other hand, we have innovation nowadays is also kind of a time race. Just along the lessons learned from COVID this year, everything had to be really quick because the problem was there, the crisis was there, and we need solutions. We cannot wait 10 years locked down in our houses. So the same happens to climate change and nature degradation. Are we going to make it on time? We need to make it on time. There's no other way. There is also the question about do we want to or do we need to make incremental innovation, or should we go for disruptive innovation? It depends on the market you want to enter. And additionally, we also discussed this question the past week in a panel. Do we want to make pull or push-driven innovation? Both are valid, but it's a challenge that you have to decide before you start the international collaboration. Either you go to find out what are the industrial or the community requirements, and from there, you build a product or a solution, or the other way around. You might have found gold, but what do you do with it? What is it for? How do you communicate it so that it is an attractive product in an international constellation of actors? But let's now talk about the opportunities. There are many technology needs, and there are many relevant markets which will be or are already very relevant for the international collaboration. And the experts have consensus that overarching solutions for several sectors have a high priority. For example, clean energies, artificial intelligence, IT solutions, 5G solutions, Industry 4.0. That's all already actual, but the implementation of these new ideas requires innovative tools, innovative solutions. Everything which is regarding smart manufacturing, that means eco-industrial solutions to increase the productivity, to increase efficiency, to reach zero emissions, that's already actual, and it's going to be even more and more and more important given the goals of reducing our emissions until 2050. And so many countries want to reach a high goal until 2030, so there's not much time left. And specifically in Chile, which was the feedback also from the experts we discussed with last week, is opportunities are found, for example, in the second life and redesign of solar panels, lithium batteries, new materials for solar energy, harvesting and accumulation, low emission mining, smart manufacturing, electromobility, green hydrogen. Those are topics which will be more and more attractive for collaboration, plus construction residues, either from public infrastructure, from housing, or from roads, as well as the use of innovative construction materials. All of that circular economy for certain economic sectors, for example, mining sector, aquaculture, and forestry, are seen as relevant markets for the future. In general thoughts regarding the opportunities, we see that the international transfer is required. It's not only an opportunity, it's a requirement to get faster learning curves and shorter time from the lab to the market. We also see, or let's look at the glass half full. Crisis can be an innovation driver. We have this bittersweet experience in 2000. This proved all over the world to be a driver for innovation. However, it brings us a big responsibility, as no one was good, or not every solution was fulfilling this socially responsible, economically attractive, and environmentally friendly triangle. However, what's an opportunity is to know, and it was proven this year, that public perception of a problem does really influence a lot the direction and the intensity on which innovation is carried out. In general, we have also learned that the utilization of digital communication tools and techniques is going to be, or it is, a great opportunity. Just like today, we are in this activity that alive would have cost a lot of money and a lot of time, but now we are exchanging 4 countries at the same time. We can use this virtual wave of communication that we learned in 2020 from now on to exchange knowledge faster and with less carbon footprint. Additionally, and this is also a common thing between all of the collaborations for Europe and Latin America, is that Latin American countries usually offer unique conditions for developing and testing new technologies. So this is a great opportunity for real labs. I think I have like 1 more minute. So I'm just gonna say a last few words about some opportunities or regarding the financing landscape. There are many important players and actions. I'm gonna just say them in general, and the abbreviations are for German or Chilean organizations, but in general, there are always opportunities in the National Agencies for Science and Research, in ANIT in Chile, BMBF, TFG in Germany, the National Agencies for Production and Economic Development, which is Corfo in Chile, BMWE for Germany. Also, foreign affairs have many opportunities, such as the embassies and exporting offices like for Chile, or specialized national agencies like Fundación para Innovación Agraria, the Ministries for Agriculture, as well as industrial organizations. They also promote the exchange between international organizations for innovation, such as the FOFA Hub or the Cámara de Industria y Comercio. And what we have learned this year as well is that our foundations, like for example, Siemens Foundations, Volkswagen Foundation, Joachim Herz Foundations, they also have calls and a lot of calls to participate in innovation challenges or innovation contest, so that you can get funding for your projects. And of course, we cannot forget about EU Commission and the Belmont Forum. I thought this requires a high degree of organization. The complexity of the consortium work is very high, but the rewards are also very high because of the financing that is involved in there. To close up my contribution today, I'd like to mention a little bit of startups. The startups innovation context, they can profit from a lot of existing programs of soft landing and scale up. For example, the Go Global program from Chile, or from KITE, we have 2 examples. The one that Laura just presented, the KITE Industry Expert for the Exchange, but also the Global Horizon program, which is directed exactly for startups. And this is going to be presented today, I think, by Ralph in a few minutes. And another lesson learned is that big companies, even when they have a big research center or big research labs, they are also looking forward more and more to cooperate with startups, because they need new technologies and new ideas. They need people that think out of the box. And these ideas do not necessarily need to come from the same country in which this company is located. They can come from all over the world. So they are also open. That's another opportunity. In case you want to hear the whole contribution of our innovation roundtable from last week, just click on the news website of IECO Institute. I copied the links over there, and the videos are already available. And with that, I'd like to say thank you for attention, and have a relaxed rest of the morning and of the afternoon.